Hi guys, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to do an oil change on a G Series X5 30D. First we need to make sure we have the following parts. The X5 30D takes 6.5 litres of BMW oil. It's the twin power turbo 0W30 long life 04 oil. The part number for that is 832-124-65854. These come in 1 litre bottles, so you'll need to order 7 of those. I recommend to check online for pricing. I found my local BMW dealer was charging £23 a litre, yet on eBay there was another BMW dealer that had them priced at just under £13 a litre. A genuine BMW oil filter, part number for that is 114-278-26799. These usually retail around £20. And for tools, you'll need a ratchet, a torque ratchet if you want to torque the drain plug and oil filter cap to spec, a 17mm socket for the oil drain plug, a 32mm socket for the oil filter cap, oil catch pan, towels to catch any oil spills, and a funnel, which is optional. It just makes it easier to pour the oil into the engine without spilling it.
The first thing we need to do before we start is just to warm up the oil, not so that it's too hot, so it runs out easy once the drain plug's been removed. Okay, so let's get the engine started and warmed up.
This X5 has air suspension which allows you to adjust the ride height, so it's actually possible to change the oil if you put it onto its maximum height without needing to use a jack. This is BMW and attention to detail. The screen even has a like version of your car and colour with the ride height adjustment animation.
To lift the hood, we need to pull the lever under the driver's dash twice. Now that the oil is warmed up slightly, just so it's a little more runny, we're going to go under the car and remove the oil drain plug. So the tools we need to remove the oil drain plug is a oil change pan, just to catch the oil coming out of the engine, just to have a towel to hand, an old towel, just to make sure in case anything, if there's any drips that we need to catch, that they don't go onto the driveway. And then we also need a ratchet with a 17mm socket. Let's have a look under the car then, just to see where the oil change plug is. So it's just behind the front wheels, underneath here. Oh, there it is. Right, so initially we just want to release just to unscrew it, but not take it out, just to loosen it off. Okay. Next we put the pan underneath. And then just unscrew it by hand until the bolt comes out. There we go. Once the oil is fully drained, we need to remove the cap from where the oil filter is housed. That needs to be done with a 32mm, which will fit on there, and then just a bar to remove it. Once loosened off, just get a rag just in case any oil drips out when you're removing it. There we go, there's the filter. When you've removed the filter, just double check it matches up with the old one. You need to remove the rubber O-ring from the filter cap. With it being covered in oil, I found using a screwdriver to get underneath it makes it easy to remove without scratching or damaging the filter cap. Remember to use some oil to lube up the 4 rubber O-rings. There's the large ring for the filter cap, then on the filter itself there are 2 O-rings inside the filter, one at each end, with a third at the bottom around the outside of the filter. I ran my finger around the large filter oil cap O-ring to make sure it wasn't twisted. Push it into the filter cap and it will click into position. Now, one BMW workshop manual I read suggested that once the filter cap has been tightened to 25 Newton meters, that you unscrew it half a turn, then tighten it again to 25 Newton meters. However, the updated BMW workshop manual I'm using now doesn't have the loosen and retighten step in it, so I'm assuming BMW didn't think it was necessary anymore. Here's the oil sump plug and the little copper washer that we need to replace with a new one. So I'll take that off, get the replacement one from here, and then we'll screw this back onto the car. So the next thing is to fill up the 6.5 litres of oil. So fill a cap up, funnel. Just make sure when you put it in there that it's not going to block and overflow, so don't pour it in too quickly. So for the last one, we need to take it down to 500ml. These are 1 litre bottles. So down to 500ml. Just give that a little wipe. Now this model actually has a dipstick which is just there, but it's going to get in the way of this, so actually you could take off, there's 4 points to it. It takes this off, there, and there. So we can actually take this off and we can measure the oil level with the dipstick. Looks like it's at max. Let's just double check. Yeah, that's at max. Place the trim cover so it goes onto these parts here. There's the 4th one there. So if we just line it up using this to line up, and just push it back on. Done.
Now I'll lower the car back to its normal ride height.
Final part of this is to reset the interval on the car. So once you get in the car, press the engine start stop button 3 times.
That puts it into diagnostic mode.
I'll bring it up on here, and then when you have to make sure that it's on the trip counter on the right hand side. Hold down the BC button for about 10 seconds. Reset possible, so we want to reset the engine oil. So you hold it down the BC button. And we want to perform a reset, so hold it down again. There we go. That's updated. Now it's suggesting that the engine needs changing 3 years from now, or 13,000 miles. So to check the engine oil level in your car, if you go into car from the menu, you want to go into vehicle status, engine oil level. If we do an engine oil measurement, it will only give you the option to check the engine oil when it is at temperature with the engine running. So at the moment, although I have the engine running, it is still
So you see that it's still cold, so we'll wait for the engine to warm up and try again. Okay, so now the engine oil is up to temperature. It's not quite at the normal operating line, but at this stage it is possible to start a measurement. So what happens is, while it's doing it, it seems to have increased the revs slightly. Hopefully this video has helped you. If it has, please give it a thumbs up to help me in return, and subscribe for more content like this. There we go. It's at the max level, that's good. Perfect.